Hey guys, so this is going to be a technical analysis on the one and only Koji Murofushi, which I believe is the clean world record holder. No offense, Sadiq, but you know. um, I wanted to pay a little homage because he's the guy that he's probably top 5 favorite throwers of all time just to watch and be a fan of, and just oh my god, his throw, his distance. I mean, throwing 84 meters. I mean, that's a feat in itself. But he almost threw 85. I think it was like 80. I think his PR was like 84, 80 something, if I'm not mistaken. But God, I mean, his throw. So I picked this video, and this video might seem a little weird. I actually think this is on Mount Sec. Now that I'm actually looking at it, it might be in the old ring, maybe. I don't know though. It looks like it, but I could just be totally wrong. But this is him at a clinic, and this is just a demonstration throw. Like, he's honestly just kind of just throwing just for the hell of it. This is him either retired or basically retired, and I mean, just look at this throw. I mean, does it get better than that? And I know what you guys might be thinking, like, out of all the throws of Koji, why did you pick this video? Honestly, I mean, I just love it. I can watch any video of Koji basically doing anything. And I know that sounds like mad glaze. I'm not going to lie, it is. It is mad glaze, but, whatever. It's my channel. So, I'm allowed to glaze him. Alright, I'm not going to lie. So, I literally basically grew up watching his Throw for Gold documentary, which I actually am nerdy enough to have tracked down a Japanese guy to actually translate it for me, so I knew what they were saying. And that's about how nerdy I am. So, when it comes to this throwing stuff, but I mean, and don't worry, we're gonna get into the technique. I just need to glaze a little more. His technique is so aesthetically pleasing. It is, in my opinion, the epitome of throwing far aesthetically. Because, like, some people, they throw far, but they don't look pretty. Like, throwing. And I don't want to say pretty, but, like he just looks... Like, words can't describe this, honestly. Like, how good this looks. And this is him, like, basically retired. This is him, like, no warm-up. Like, you see the people filming him, like, this is literally, like, just because. Like, he's in sweats and a t-shirt. Like, and he just put on some throwing shoes and just threw. I mean, I love this so much. I don't even know how far this went. I don't really care. But I don't even know if this is a 16-pound... actually probably is a 16, now I'm looking at it. A 16-pound hammer. But, whatever. I don't even care. But, let's get into this. So, let's get in. So, the winds. So, he has a very distinct orbit. So, him and Kibwe Johnson might have the highest first turns ever in terms of high point to low point. Or the most exaggerated orbits. Kibwe, I think, has Koji beat a little, but Koji ain't that far off. So, what I mean by that is that normally you want to think about going flatter in your wind, especially if you're a 4-turner. If you're a 3-turner, it's a little different. But for a 4-turner, you want to be a little flatter usually. However, if you're someone like Koji who can actually handle the forces and do something with it, having a not up and down, I should say, but more exaggerated orbit on the winds can lead to further throws, simply just because you're allowing gravity to really help you a lot more. So, like, it basically, it's so hard to describe without feeling it, but how do I want to explain this? Basically, if you can handle it. So I would say if you're like a 70 plus meter hammer thrower, you can probably handle these forces. And I mean, like, it's very easy to like just go to just let the hammer fall. But he's doing it. He's doing it with the forces of winding flatter. But he's able to handle the forces. Like, he's winding. I want you guys to look at how fast he's actually winding. Like, that right there is so much force. And I know it doesn't look like it. But I know he looks really relaxed. But when you're at this kind of level, like an 80 plus meter hammer thrower, you notice, like, it's all relative. Like it looks slow. But when you have to actually see a legit like 75 plus meter hammer thrower to in person to truly understand like how fast they're winding, how fast they're moving. Like, this just looks like, oh yeah, I could do that. But when you actually see these guys in person, it's crazy how fast they actually go. Like, literally a blink and they're done. Like, it's honestly astounding the force it takes to throw that far with a hammer. But basically, what I'm trying to say is if you can handle it, like, he's not letting it drop, so he's still going around. See, like, most people, when they have super exaggerated orbits, it's because they're either just lazy or they're not strong enough to handle a more exaggerated wind, or they just don't know what they're doing yet. They're just beginners. But when you see this, so he's still reaching wide, he's still countering, and then here. So normally, I like the low point to be a little higher for like the levels I coach, like the beginners to like intermediate to maybe advanced. But as you get better and better, this low point can get lower. It's just a lot harder to counter, especially on this initial first turn. And then from here, because he's producing so much force in this first turn, see, like, normally you'd see like I would say like a 40 to 60 meter hammer thrower. And the hammer, and like their feet would not move at all until the hammer gets like 90. But because he's moving with such force, the hammer's already in line with his knee, which is insane. The force he creates on his first turn. And I mean, it's not just him. Like, almost any elite thrower, you'll see this. And it's like, some people would be like, like, he's not letting the ball past him like he should. But when you're moving this fast and have this much power, he is letting it past him. And the reason I know that is because the hammer's not behind him. The hammer does get slightly in front of him before his feet start moving. But what I want you to know, or what I want you guys to see, is this is connection right here. So at every point in the throw, the hammer's going to be connected to his right foot. Right here. The hammer and his right foot. Now, the hammer might be a little slightly, like the actual ball head might be a little slightly ahead. Behind. That's just how, forces work and pushing works. But the actual hammer and his hands are not behind this right leg. It is either in line with his belly button or his right knee. Now, he tends to have... Now, normally... Well, okay, so I coach normally having your feet more lower to the ground. Some people, like Koji, like to have a higher right knee. And, I mean, that's fine. As long as you get it down like he does, who cares? But, I personally coach a lower knees and lower feet, simply just because I feel like it's easier to touch down faster, and it's just a lot easier and more consistent. But, with the forces that he's producing, and I think he does this, and I could be wrong, it's because he has such a high first turn. Like, normally this is like the height of like maybe a second to third turn maybe. But his first turn, this is like insane high point to have. So he gets here though. Boom, touchdown. Really nice here. Catches it really deep. and then works, push, all the way, and he's patient. You notice the foot doesn't start moving, basically, until the hammer's in line with his right knee. Push. So all these turns are basically the same. One of the absolute things I love about Koji is the fact that he gets tighter each step. And let me play this regular motion. I want you guys to notice the acceleration with him. The acceleration. Each turn is getting faster. The ball's moving faster. And you notice also that he himself, so his body is not moving that fast. But the ball, like the ball, you can't even see the ball really. Like if that ball wasn't just bright blue, you probably wouldn't even see it. Like it's honestly astounding. Like I know his body's moving fast because he's moving the ball like super fast. But you notice that the fastest thing moving is the ball and not his body, and that's a very common thing that I see a lot with beginners because they're so used to shot put and discus, even though that's not really how you should throw shot and disc either. Really, with any throwing movement, the implement should always move faster than your body, or else you're just throwing your body and not the implement, really. That's just, physics, but you can see it. Especially, it comes into play a lot better in hammer. Like, you can really see when someone moves, the body faster than the ball, or vice versa. You can really see the difference here. Alright, so he gets here. And you notice each turn. So because he's such an animal, and he's just such an athlete, he can handle these forces. Like, these extreme orbits are insane to handle. It's honestly astounding. Like, this position, I don't think a lot of people realize like how insane that position is. To counter that with the ball being that high and being able to stay that back, like, normally, like, I would even say that's too high. But simply just because it's Koji, to be quite honest. If you can handle that, more power to you. I wish I was athletic enough to handle that amount of force. So, the reason why he's doing that is, one, because he's an animal, and two, because he's not... he relies a lot more on this part right here. So, as his foot... So the downstroke, I should say. So this downstroke, I want you to peep how fast he gets on his downstroke. So a lot of his force is on this downstroke. So he catches it super deep, which is a stylistic thing, I would say. Some people catch it to 90, some people catch it deep. I would say if you can catch it deep and produce force, I would say that's better. Just a lot of people cannot do that. Alright. So he gets here. And now he has all this time to push. Right here. All this time to push. All this time. Boom. And then another thing I see beginners do really wrong as well is they bend their elbows and they try and like curl up and throw with their arms. And you notice with him, with Koji especially, he gets here and he just releases. That's it. That's all that happens. He is adding anything, stuff, but not with his arms. He's just releasing. That's it. He's just letting go. Alright? And that's what you gotta do. When it's about to reach its high point, just let go. Boom. Right there. That's all you need. You don't need to muscle it. You don't need to do anything. In fact, muscling and you trying to throw the hammer with your arms is probably one of the worst things you can do. One, you're going to really hurt your biceps and your elbows and your shoulders. And two, the hammer is a whole body exercise. So, it's just like shot put and discus. You can't throw far with just using your arms. You got to use your back. You got to use your legs. Everything. You got your shoulders. You got to use everything. and especially in hammer, your posterior chain, so from your neck all the way down, your spine and your coccyx, like you, that's probably some of the most important stuff. You always see big hammer throwers, like I don't mean big, like big time, like really good hammer throwers, and they'll be like slightly hunched over a little bit and like have kind of rounded shoulders, and their backs will be humongous. And that's simply just because the amount of force, the better you get, the more you got to counter. All right, so the faster this ball gets, the more you got to sit back. So you notice each turn that he sits back. And the better you are and the further you throw, the amount of force your body needs to withstand, you need to have those strong posterior muscles. All right? That's why you'll see hammer throwers, and they don't look a lot like shot put or discus throwers. Like, maybe this is just a me, it's not just a me thing, but I can tell immediately just by looking at a thrower. It's kind of easy with a jab thrower. I can tell immediately, oh, you're a shot putter, or you're a discus thrower, or you're a hammer thrower. I can tell immediately, and it's all body type. When you see these guys specialize in one event, you get to see the similarities. Like, Koji is honestly a little more normally built for a hammer thrower. But normally, you can tell a hammer thrower because, like, they just look different. They have way bigger quads, a bigger butt. Their core is insane. They sometimes have a gut, usually, which is honestly kind of good, but it's like a Eddie Hall type of gut where, like, if they take off their shirt, their core, like, they got, what's it called? The power belly. Yeah, there you go, the power belly. But it's like cut usually, that like they usually don't have like a belly like a shot putter. And then their arms aren't actually that big usually because you don't really need that much arm strength in terms of like bench pressing and stuff to actually throw the hammer, contrary to popular belief. Like a lot of hammer throwers, you'd actually be surprised at how little they actually bench. And it's because like you're not pushing and stuff. Like, you need to be long. You need to not noodle arms, but you need to be able to relax your arms, and really your arms are just there to resist. So, I know I'm not saying don't do upper body. I'm just saying compared to shot put, discus, and jab, it's probably not the most important thing in the world, but that's just my opinion. There are other schools of thought. Whatever works for you, I don't really care. I'm sure there'll be someone in the comment section like, oh, but I've seen like this 80-meter throw a bench press. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I don't care. Like, you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to, if an 80-meter thrower is bench pressing, who am I to say, oh, you'd probably throw further if you didn't bench press? Like, no, that's just dumb. I don't really care. Just like I don't like Weissheimer's technique, but he threw 70 meters and it kind of shut me up. Kinda. I still don't like his technique at all. I don't know. I'm sorry, Vice. I don't know why you just caught a stray in this video, but but yeah. Otherwise, like, and I know like I'm kind of just like talking because there isn't really too much I can say about Koji's throw. And I know this is glazing again, but really, like, what do you want me to say? What can I say? Like this, like if I had a thrower who threw like this, I would be so gassed to have the privilege to coach someone with this technique. To be quite honest, first of all, I would retire if I coached Koji. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be all I need to put on my resume. I coach Koji Murofushi. That's it. That's all. And I can die happy, to be quite honest with you. And I know, that was kind of insane, Glaze. But, yeah, like, there isn't really too much to say about his technique. And in a lot of my hammer videos, I kind of just repeat the same thing over and over and over again, usually, because really, compared to shot put and discus, there isn't that much variation in hammer. When you see a lot of these top guys, they all basically throw the same way, and there's a reason. Is because, there aren't too many different ways. Just like in javelin, really, there aren't really too many different ways you can throw a hammer or jab, really. Whereas, like, shot put and discus, you'll see, like, a wide variety of techniques. But in hammer and jab, like, you don't, like, they really don't, especially in hammer. Like, you know, like you might see like a couple quirks here and there, but in general they all do the same thing really. Like, to be quite honest. So it's really hard, and that's why I don't really make a lot of hammer videos also, or jab videos, is because, you know, once I make one or two, like, you know, I mean, they all kind of basically do the same. And I know that's kind of like a cop out in technique, but like he just does everything so well. I mean, like I literally cannot pinpoint anything wrong. Like, I guess I would say maybe it's a little too high, but then again, for him, this is not that high. Well, it is high, but for him, he can handle this, and he's throwing 84 meters. So I can't say this is wrong for him. Now, would I say to like someone that throws 50 meters, I want them to have this high point? No, because likely they're not going to be able to counter this with any sort of power or speed. You know, like they would most likely decelerate, or the hammer would throw them in the freaking air if they had a high point like this. Because again, the amount of power that his body right now is withstanding is insane. All right, like I think, what was it, the world record holder, like when the world record was broken, the actual world record throw, the hammer left like 77 miles per hour. So think about that for a second. So when you throw like 80 meters, that's probably around like 70 miles per hour at least. If you really think about that, imagine 70 miles per hour of force that is running through your body, and you have to resist that. Do you know how insane that is? It's basically said that, and this, it's not really a saying. I don't really know if there's science to back this up, but you'll hear a lot of elite hammer throwers and a lot of elite hammer coaches, and they say like basically when the hammer's at their low point, it basically is like they're deadlifting 800 plus pounds. Like, that's how much force they're generating, how much force they have to resist. So you have to think, if you're like a 50-meter hammer thrower, and speaking for myself because I was a 50-meter hammer thrower, if I hit this position, I could not do anything. The ball would just fall down. I would decelerate. I would not be able to handle this. I probably wouldn't be able to counter this, to be quite honest. And that's also because, you know, I was kind of bad at hammer. But technically speaking, at least. But, yeah. Like, so if you're like an intermediate to beginner thrower, I would say don't do a lot of things Koji says. Like, not says, but does. Simply just because, you know, like, you're just not Koji. And really, can't say only Koji gets away with this, but, I mean, like, you just have to be this. You just have to be a him, basically, is what I'm trying to say, to throw like this. I guess another negative thing I can say about his technique, I guess not really negative, but it's aesthetically pleasing for this high knee, but I personally don't like it. And the fact that his knees are kind of wide, I usually don't like. But then again, like, it honestly, when you're going these speeds, you just kind of just have to let the body do what it does. Like, you just have to just hold on for dear life once you're past this third turn. Right here, there's really nothing you can do at this point. Like, you can't save a throw if you get this third turn wrong, usually. At these speeds, it is so rare. But usually, if you're going these speeds, you probably have a good technique. I'm going to be quite honest. I would hazard a guess to say that I don't think there's an 80-meter thrower that you can say has bad technique. Now, call me crazy, but that's like saying, oh, this 22-meter shot putter had bad technique, or this 70-meter discus thrower had bad technique. You know, it's just like, at the end of the day, it's subjective. It's good technique for you, but it's not good technique for everybody. So, like, if I tried to throw like Koji, I would not throw very far. You know why? Because I'm not Koji. I'm me. You know, so just like if I threw like Ryan Krauser, I probably wouldn't throw 20. Okay, not probably. I don't throw 23 meters, and I probably wouldn't if I threw like Krauser either, because I'm not Ryan Krauser. I'm not 6'7" and 300 pounds and an absolute monster. All right, and I'm not Koji, who has like a 40-inch vert with like a 35-pound weight vest, because I guess he's just a different type of beast. You know, like he's insane. Like the athlete that he is insane. His father was also an Olympian, who I've actually done a video on, who was the previous Japanese record holder before his son just came and just absolutely destroyed it. No offense, but I mean, I think the previous record was like 76 meters, and Koji came in through like 84 high, so it's like, all right, damn. But yeah, like in this playlist, like in this series on my YouTube channel, for the just like the technical analysis videos, you'll find a lot of it is not really that much technical analysis. It's me more just glazing, because I kind of just pick throwers I really like to watch and really like to highlight, because I am a coach, and I guess I was an athlete, but I'm also a fan of the sport, and at the end of the day, I just like seeing far throwers that look good throwing at the end of the day. It's like I'd rather watch a Kobe highlight than a Tim Duncan highlight. Both great, but if I was to just look on my phone, I would probably type in a Kobe Bryant highlight before a Tim Duncan highlight. But, that's just me, I guess. But, yeah. Basically, at the end of the day, Koji's the GOAT. And really, it's going to be very hard to change my mind about that. So, yeah. Oh, he's also Olympic gold medalist and a world champion. And, oh, yada, 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 yada. Whatever. And I think he must be, like, top 10 in how many 80-meter throws he actually had in his career. I know that's kind of a weird claim that I actually haven't looked up, but he threw 80 meters so much. He was also competed in probably one of the most, besides I think the 80s, probably the most difficult era to win a medal in. Like, he had to compete against Cosmos, Tikon, Debutoski, Ziolkowski, who else? Oh, Olli-Pekka Kananayan. I can never pronounce his name, but he's an 83 meter guy. Adrian Anos. Oh my god, how could I forget him? Christian Pars. I guess he overlapped. Fashak wasn't really in his prime, but yeah, I can't really claim Fashak. But like a Marcus Esser. He competed against so many like 82 plus meter throwers. It was insane. The 2000s to like really early 2010s, because I think he retired in 14 or 2012. But yeah, by the way, he also won a world championship in 2011 when he was like 40 or so. Like, he was old, and he still threw like I think 81 meters. Yeah, he still threw 81 meters at that age, which is absolutely insane. And like he got the gold in Athens in 2004 because Adrian Anos tested positive. But if you guys haven't looked up that that competition between him and Adrian Anos in 2004 Olympics, go check that out, because in my opinion, that might be one of the best battles I've seen. It's either that or like Fashdek and Christian Pars, I think at the 2012, 2010 year. Actually, it might have been 14. It might have been 2014. One of those, where it was when Fashdek was basically entering his prime and Christian Pars was kind of declining, but not really. He was still throwing 80, but he was probably the last year of his prime. And they were just going blow for blow. Like, each throw was further. It was insane. Another one would be probably the battle in 2005 between Ivan Tikon and Vadim Debutoski, where they just exchanged championship records left and right. And yeah, that was a crazy one. Obviously, like, I guess Litvinov and Sadiq at the, I forget the exact comp, but you know the comp where the world record was broken. I think people forget that Sadiq, I'm sorry, Litvinov also threw like 86 meters in that comp as well. I think they both hit their PRs in that meet. I know he threw like 70, no sorry, 85, not 75. He threw over 85 at least. And they were throwing like far. Obviously, they won, you know, Sadiq broke the world record. But, you know, like, let's not forget, like, Litvinov was pretty close as well. So, I don't know how I got on this tangent about these great battles, but whatever. I don't know. My mind just wanders. Oh, God, I've been rambling for 30 minutes. Anyway. So, to sum up this video. There isn't that much to say. Koji's the GOAT. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you want me to analyze anybody. And if you actually ask me, I'll probably actually analyze instead of going on a 20-minute rant just glazing one guy. I will definitely just analyze it. But, again, there isn't that much to really say about his technique or critique about his technique. He just does everything really flawless, really. I mean, I can nitpick here and there, but, you know, I can't really. It's like trying to critique Ryan Krauser. Like, he even says, like, ooh, I pulled a little, but you threw 23 meters. So it's just like, okay, you might have pulled, like, 2 millimeters or something. But at the end of the day, like, I'll just be an asshole if I just critique that at that point. Like, come on, man. It's like, oh, I broke the world record, but I pulled just a little bit. Or, oh, I wasn't on the ground for that much long. It's like, man, shut up. But, you know, whatever. But, other than that, thanks for watching. Unlike my underrated series videos, I won't post any of his accomplishments because, to be quite honest, if you don't even know who Koji is, you know, do some research, please. Like, if you actually are serious about this sport, you need to know a couple people. You need to know Koji, Krauser, Gerd Kanter, Virgilius Alekna. And I would say those are good spotting, good points for basically the GOATs. Oh, and, you know, James Leslie and, like, Thomas Roller and, Piknamaki and, Johannes Vetter for javelin. But, yeah, so, and that's just on the male side. But, yeah, like, just research those names, and then you'll figure out, if you do some research, why I always glaze those guys a lot. So, yeah. Other than that, thanks for watching, and hope you guys learned something. I don't know. You probably didn't really, to be quite honest. This was just a whole glaze fest, but, yeah. Thanks for watching, and hope you guys have a good day. See y'all later. Bye.